Hey guys. Hey Julie. Hey Tiffany.
Hey,
Excited to have you guys on here. Let's dive right in. So, what is your marketing budget? What is your marketing budget for your medical aesthetic practice? Do you know? Do you have one? Are you being strategic, or like a lot of business owners, you're flying by the seat of your pants? That's one scenario. Another is you're not spending enough. And another is you're spending way too much, right? And so I want to dive in to my philosophy when it comes to figuring out what your marketing budget is, because this number really can vary greatly from one med spa to the next. This number can be like thousands of dollars and even percentages, right? If we're not even talking dollars, we're talking a percentage of your budget, can be very different from one medical aesthetic practice to another. And some of those reasons are really good reasons, and others are not good reasons, not sound reasons behind making the decision of what your marketing budget is. So I want to dive into that philosophy today. I'm unpacking how to determine what your med spa marketing budget should be and why I do not believe in the standard, oh, it should be 5 to 10% of your total revenue. I think that is way too generic of an answer. But before I dive in, I want to know, are you brave enough? Are you brave enough to, in the comments box, tell me what is your current marketing budget, right? Now, some people may be a little shy about this, but I don't want you to be, because there really is no right or wrong answer. And today, my hope is that I can impart some knowledge on you to help you make really an informed decision for your med spa, because there's no one right answer when it comes to what your marketing budget should be. So some of you may answer a percentage, right, of your total revenue. It could be a set dollar amount. Some of you will say, I'll spend whatever it takes, right, to meet my revenue goal. And others will say, I don't know. And that's okay. The point is that you are here and you are trying to get better every single day. So in the comments box, tell me, what is your marketing budget? So Tiffany, Brooke, Julie, I see a few of you on here live with us. Thank you for joining us. Tell me, what is your marketing budget? All right. So the question of the hour is, how much should my marketing budget be, right? And I get this question often, like pretty much every other day, from clients and leads, right? And unfortunately, it's not a straight answer, guys. I'm sorry to tell you that there's no straightforward answer. There's really just so many questions and considerations that I'm going to put back onto you in order to make this informed decision. My guru, Tony Robbins, always says, if you want a better answer, ask better questions. And so that is really what you need to focus on in order to determine what should be your marketing budget for your medical aesthetic practice. So some of the questions and considerations are you a new med spa, or are you established, right? If you're a new med spa, the startup costs, not only for just your general business, but for your marketing, can really be expensive if you do it right, right? We're talking about a beautiful, mobile, responsive website. We're talking about, CRMs and softwares. We're talking about print, brochures, swag, ads, digital ads, building your brand, right? Do you have a brand design? Today I was talking with a client and they're having us redesign their website because they hate the look of their website, the colors, the fonts, the blurriness. And I said, it's not as simple as just switching, converting your website. Like, we got to start with a solid foundation of building a brand kit, a brand design and guide, not just for your website, but so that when you are making a brochure or a flyer, your newsletter, that all of your marketing design is cohesive. Okay. So have you invested in a brand kit? And I can tell you personally, for my own brand, like when I started out, I did the Fiverr and I spent a couple $100s for my brand kit, right? And then I bumped it up and I spent $1,000 for a brand kit. And then just a couple years ago, I invested over $5,000 in a brand kit. And what is a brand kit? It literally is a logo, your different fonts, your color schemes, right? And there's lots of other great pieces to the puzzle. In fact, my brand kit, I'm not trying to minimize it, but literally it comes with hundreds of files, but it's an investment, right? When you do things right. So are you established or are you a brand new med spa? Because those marketing expenses are going to look very different from an established to a new med spa. This is one of a very important question. How aggressive are you with your growth goals, right? Is it a percentage? Is it a dollar amount? How aggressive do you want to be with your growth? How much more capacity do you have before you're going to have to hire again or buy another device, right? Because oftentimes I talk with clients and they're just like, I'm really not interested in growing too much more aggressively, because if I do, then it opens this whole other cans of worms of, well, then I probably have to get a bigger building, and I'm probably going to have to get a practice manager, and I'm probably going to, it just opens up this can of worms, where I speak to other people, and which is more common, of like, sky's the limit, right? Give me more. There's never too many new patients. So how aggressive do you want to be with your growth goals? Are you willing to be less profitable today, to pay yourself less today, to be more profitable in the future, right? During COVID, for my business, I literally was putting out $15,000 to $20,000 a month in Facebook and Instagram ads during COVID, okay? Because I believed that if I was less profitable today in my business, it would pay off for me in the long run. So you have to think about that too. There's different points for a variety of reasons why it's better to not follow the standard ratios in your financial budget in order to be profitable down the road. Now, you need to be strategic. You need to make informed business decisions. I'm not telling you, just to spend money nilly-willy without really thinking about it and being strategic. But you need to ask yourself, am I willing to make less money today by reinvesting into my business, right, to make more money down the road? So that's an important question as well. And do you even know your numbers? This is such a huge, huge, huge thing, is that business owners don't truly know their numbers, meaning they don't know what services are generating them the most sales. And even more than that, what is generating them the most profit, right? I don't care if you're doing $1 million a year in Botox and filler, but if you're not pricing it correctly between your consumables, and if your compensation plans are not in line, you're not going to make any money off of that $1 million a year, right? So which is then not going to allow you to make informed decisions with your marketing dollars. So you've got to know your numbers. And the next question I'm going to ask you is, do you have a solid consultation and rebooking process? Do you have a solid consultation process so that when your marketing dollars do bring in a new patient, that you are able to not just convert them that day, but convert them into a lifetime patient, right? To convert them from just being a transactional patient off of a specific offer that you put out in your marketing and converting them into a package or a membership, or obviously a reoccurring lifetime patient. That is key. And so if you don't have a consultation process where, in essence, I call it betting on myself, right? If I'm not confident in myself or my team that they are going to value the marketing dollars that you're investing to give them new patients, then I would think again of how much I'm putting out there. If my team and myself, if I don't value my marketing dollars by making sure that before that patient leaves, I'm rebooking them for their next appointment to make sure that I'm not on this hamster wheel of turning and burning through new patients, because that's when your marketing dollars are not going to do what you want them to do. That's when you are going to be putting out a lot of money and you're going to see some revenue coming in. But if you're not retaining them, if you're turning and burning through new clients, new patients, then you're ultimately not going to hit your growth and revenue goals. So if I know my numbers, if I have a solid consultation process, and I know that my team is going to rebook these new patients that come in, man, I'm going to invest in marketing. I am going to bet on myself, bet on my med spa by investing in marketing. Now, the answer to those questions that I just went over is really key in you determining your marketing budget. You have to be able to confidently answer those questions. And then when you do, you're going to have a much better gauge of what your marketing budget should be. Now, I just want to give you some food for thought. The US Small Business Administration, they recommend, and you might have heard this before from other people even, that 10% of your gross revenue for marketing is where you should really target or land if you're doing $5 million or less a year. So $5 million or less a year, the US Small Business Administration is recommending that you be right around 10%. And that's if your net profit is between 10 and 12%. So, and that really, a lot of times med spas are in that 10 to 15% net profit range. And if you are really good, you're around that 20% net profit, right? And so the small business recommends 10%. Well, guys, if you're asking me, I would say throw that advice out the door, because I think that by following that advice, it is going to be challenging for you to grow quickly. And that's what you want, right? You want to grow quickly. Small Business Administration. I want you guys to go back to the questions that I was mentioning before, which is how aggressive, right? How aggressive do you want to grow? How aggressive do you want to be to bring in new patients? Are you willing to pay yourself less today, make less money this year so that you can be more profitable in the future? Is your brand established? Are you known in your market? Or do you have to do some extra things that the more established medical spas don't have to, right? Do you know your numbers? Do you know that with confidence, if you bring in a new patient, your team is going to convert them to keep them as a patient, rebook them, keep them coming back again and again? Once you have a solid grasp on that, I want you to remember this quote by Dan Kennedy, which is, the business that can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins. The business that can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins. It really is that simple, guys. But in order to do that, and not go broke, right? You got to know your numbers. You got to have a solid consultation and rebooking process. Because if you don't, that's when you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. So here's the thing. If you don't have complete confidence in your numbers, in your consultation, in your rebooking strategy, you probably should stay around that 10% mark. You probably really should, right? But I got to tell you that 10%, that's pretty much going to maintain your results, your brand awareness, your visibility. But if you want to grow, you have to invest in your business. You got to spend money to make money. And if I'm a med spa that knows my numbers, I have a good consultation process and a rebooking process, I am going to bet on me. I'm going to bet on my team. I'm going to invest in my business. In fact, I am going to be speaking at Aesthetic Next in September, and I'm doing a workshop for new med spa owners. And I've gathered some tips from some of the best in the industry that's been there and done that, and ask them for advice for these new practice owners that have already been there, gone through it, right? And time again, reoccurring things are coming up. And one of those things is to reinvest in your business. Early on, try to take as little money out as possible and invest in your business so that you can give yourself that breathing room down the road, so that you can make that big profit down the road, right? You gotta invest in your business. But the key really is to know your numbers, have a solid consultation and rebooking process so that you can find then the right marketing partner that has your best interests in heart. So your job is to make sure that you know your numbers, that you have a solid consultation and rebooking process, that you have a real grasp on and able to communicate what your why is, so that you have a strong message to market when you find the right marketing partner, right? And that really is that perfect mix where at that point, guys, the sky is the limit. And with confidence, you will be able to invest marketing dollars because you know that you're going to get a return on your investment, because the business that can spend the most money to acquire a patient is going to win at the end of the day. So it's a whole other training that I'll do in the future of where and how to allocate funds to different platforms and mediums. And I'm happy to give, my 2 cents and opinion on how to prioritize which ones to start with and then where to grow and build from there. But it really is this whole other thing. But right now, I just want you to have the strategy, the know-it-all of how you should go about even determining if you should spend more, if you should spend less. The goal is really to spend as much as you possibly can, but the only way that really is going to benefit for you is with confidence. You know that you have a solid consultation process, right? And when I say solid consultation process, I'm just not talking about how this device works and that you need a series of 3 and you should do this skincare in conjunction with it and 4 weeks in between, yada, yada, right? But are you able to get a commitment from the patient to get started? Are you rebooking them for their next appointment before they leave, right? Some really important things that you need to know. Do you know what your consumables and your labor is on those services that you're marketing, right? What's the value ladder, right? If I'm marketing Botox, where am I going to send them to from there? Is it to a device? Is it to filler? Is it to threads? And having that well thought out strategy. Otherwise, what happens is you're turning and burning through front end offers and you're not retaining them. You're not converting them to long-term patients, to comprehensive treatment plans. And that's not, when that's the case, you're not ready to invest more than that 10% in your marketing. Okay. So I hope that gives you food for thought of how to go about determining, like, am I really ready to invest dollars in marketing? A lot of dollars. Like you got to invest, the 10%. Like that is a given, that is a no-brainer. But really, depending on how fast you want to grow, depending on how strong your processes and systems are, will determine really what you're capable of, so that there's not diminishing returns on your marketing dollars. Hey, Maven Agency, thanks for joining us here today. All right, guys, if you loved this training, make sure that you share it with your team or another med spa that could benefit. You can catch the replay on my YouTube channel, and to get access to more free trainings that will help your med spa, visit my link tree in my social bio, and be sure to join me live every Wednesday at 2:30 Central Time, same place. Find me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Thanks so much, guys.